Now to get started. This is a bit of seaweed. How did it get here? It's supposed to be on the beach. It got here because I brought a load of seaweed over for the beach and I put it on here last autumn because maybe you may remember I mentioned doing it the compost heap that seaweed fertiliser is brilliant plant food and tatties love it. Well, this is the patch of my garden where I'll be planting tatties. Now, what you need to know is there are 3 different categories with tatties. There's first earlies, second earlies and main crop. And the difference between them is when they get planted, how long they take to mature and when you harvest them. Now, if you've got enough land, you can have tatties all year. We don't have enough land, so we just grow second earlies and main crop. And the tatties last us from about August to the beginning of May. Then we have to supplement them for a supermarket. So we're no self-sufficient in tatties. Now, look at this. This is how you buy the tatties. You buy them like this in a netted bag. These tatties aren't like the tatties that you buy in a supermarket shelf. These tatties have been through a ray which destroys the viruses and bacteria, and they're certified as disease free. This year I'm going to be growing, these are second earlies Villas. That's the type of tatty, they are Villas. The other ones that are up in the piano are Kestrels, another second early. And this here is our main crop, Mary's Pipers. This tatty has been chitted. Now what does that mean? These wee growths here are cried in English, eyes. And this is where the tatty shaws grow fae. The tatty shaws consist of the stems and the leaves. Now, the way to look at this is consider this a mammy tatty, right? And it's going to produce babies. That's the tatties that you're going to be eating. You're not going to be eating the mammy tatty. You're going to be eating as babies. And how they grow, how it grows under the ground is the babies don't grow below the mammy. They grow above the mammy. The stem comes up here under the ground and the tubers grow for the stems, right? The mammy will put roots down into the soil, but nothing other than that will grow under the mammy. When you get your bag of tatties, you open them carefully and you bring them out carefully. These are starting to develop eyes right now. You don't want to damage these eyes. That's the last thing you want to do. Sometimes when you buy a bag of these from a garden centre, the eyes will have grown quite long. In fact, sometimes they'll have grown through the netting here. Now, if that is the case, then you've got to remove these tatties very carefully. What you do is, you get a pair of scissors and you cut down the netting and run about the eye. And you very carefully ease the eye out the netting. You don't want to damage these tatties. Right? Then you're advised to put them in an egg box or a tray and leave them for a few weeks until they develop eyes like this. Any tatty I've ever planted has grown into a healthy plant. So you want them to look like this before you plant them. Now, let's get down to the planting. And now I'm going to rake this patch and level it as level as it needs to be. I should mention this to you. See, when you buy a bag of seed tatties now, then on the back of the packet is very comprehensive instructions. Look, if you follow these, you can't go wrong. It tells you that you should plant second earlies and main crops in drills 28 inches apart, and always make sure the eyes are facing upwards. I mentioned about the eyes, and planted at a depth of between 4 to 6 inches. I want the 2 drills up the centre of this patch, so I'll measure the width at 71 inches and 28 inches apart. 28 for 71 is 43. Half of 43 is 21 and a half. So if I come in here 21 and a half inches, there. What did I say? 21 and a half inches. 21 and a half inches, right? There. That's the line I'll be following and digging the first drill. We're not making engineering measurements here. We're doing agricultural measurements. In engineering, you're working to thousandths of an inch. Here, thousandths of an inch don't matter. You can start digging with either this or a trowel. I prefer a trowel. Always make sure the eyes are facing upwards and planted at a depth of between 4 and 6 inches. 4 and 6 inches. So make the depth of the drill 5 inches. I'm now going to dig down a depth of 5 inches. This is called getting close to nature. And I love it. There you are, 5 inches deep below the surface of the soil. That's the depth that you have to dig and then plant your tatties. Now the seaweed is completely gone for this patch. It's completely decomposed. It has gone into a soluble form that the tatties are able to absorb as plant food. Get it down 5 inches. Be hauling and being very careful. Here's my second early tatties, the kestrels. Now, remember what the instruction says, always point the een up. Now, what happens if you get something like that? What do you do? Do you do that? Well, to tell you the truth, from my experience, it doesn't really matter how they go in, the tatties will grow. Just remind ourselves of the distances. Second earlies should be 12 to 15 inches between them. Put the first one in. Yeah. That's it, going in. Right, now what you've got to be careful about at this point in the planting is you don't damage these wee een. So cover them up with fine soil. Right, don't put big rocks and boulders next to them. 12 inches is there. Right, just about there. Is that up the way? Doesn't really matter. There. Cover them up carefully. That's the most important bit. Look how fine this soil is. Didn't you look like this? Measure for the last one to the next one. There's a nice one. Put it in there like that. Cover it up with nice crumbly soil. What I'll do now is, I'll just go along like this. This is the last tatty that's going to be planted in this drill. That's the drill planted. Now I'm going to cover each tatty with crumbly soil before I fill in the drill. Crumbly soil. And I'll go right along the drill here like this. and cover up all the tatties with crumbly soil. That's this drill all filled in. There. Now, we're not quite finished here, because referring to the instructions again, it says here that there should be 6 inches of soil on top of the tatties. This requires earthing up, so I'll have to put about maybe 4 inches of soil on top of that. You can do this in 2 ways. You can either wait until the shaws come through and earth it up 6 inches, or you can do it now. Yeah. Just like that. Right. Is that the line? I think it is. Big crumply bits, just break them. Whoa, look at that soil. Beautiful. Big crumply bits you can break up. Yeah. Now what will happen is the tatty shaws will grow up for the mammy tatty, and tubers will come out for the stems under there and grow into tatties that you can eat. If you don't have land to grow tatties, it doesn't mean that you can't grow tatties. You can grow tatties in containers and pots, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You need a pot or a container that's at least 12 inches deep. The diameter isn't so important as the depth. The bigger the pot you've got, the more tatties you can put in it. Now, this one is 12 inches deep and 13 inches in diameter. Now, through my experience, I'm just going to put 1 tatty in there, just 1 tatty. I've done this before. The last time I done it, I had 20 of these with 20 tatties in, and when I lifted the tatties, each pot had 14 tatties in it. 14 tatties. There wasn't 15 tatties, there wasn't 13 tatties in any pot. They all had exactly 14, and they were perfect. Perfect. First of all, I'll put 4 inches of soil. 4 inches. 4 inches of soil on the bottom. That's my 4 inches of soil on the bottom of here. Now I'm going to put my tatty in. This is a secondary viola. I'm going to put it in with the wee E sticking up. There it is. All the tatties will grow above the mammy tatty here. The mammy tatty will put roots down into that soil, and everything will come up above it, growing. Now, I've got to put 6 inches on top of that. How's that? Wee bit more to go, definitely. Aye. That's more like it now. That's the 6 inches on top of that, equivalent to the 6 inches over here that was asked for in the instructions. If you want to increase the yield, get some of this fish blood and bone and sprinkle it over the top. Only if you want to increase the yield. The tatty will grow in there for fine. It will grow in there fine. But this might make it create more tubers. There, that's it. Now, what will happen now is the tatty shaw will come up here, and when it gets up to about this height, just above the rim here, put in another 2 inches here. Put another 2 inches of soil in, because the tubers will expand and lift the soil. So this is important. You don't want the tatties to be exposing themselves to the sun, because the sun will make them turn green, and green tatties are poisonous, right? So in order to avoid that, put another couple of inches on top, and when the tubers expand, they'll not be exposing themselves to the soil, to the sun. You don't eat green tatties, poisonous. I'm going to take this out here I've laid a wee bit of jagged gravel here onto which I'm going to put the floor pot. Now, the idea of the jagged gravel is to stop slugs and snails and ants going under there into the floor pot and coming up. Because snails and slugs and ants don't like jagged gravel. The one last thing I should tell you is this beautiful weather. Give the tatty a good drink as soon as you finish that. Get a watering can or a hose and get a good load of water. And it's thank you and good night from me.